Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Intuitive Gems. My name is Desiree, and I'll be doing your money, wealth, finance, prosperity, abundance reading for the month of March 2020. I also want to say thank you all so much for your well wishes and your positive, loving energy when I was in the hospital for almost a month. I just want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate all the kind messages that I got, and it really did make a huge difference in my healing and recovery. So for the readings this month, I'm going to be using my Trippin Waite Tarot deck. I'm going to clarify with my Radiant Rider Waite Tarot deck. And then, Scorpio, I will end your reading with an Angels and Ancestors Oracle card. If this is your first time catching one of my videos, I do invite you to subscribe because I do these money readings each and every month. And I would love to share your money message with you. So, I think that is it as far as the introduction is concerned. So let's go ahead and get right into it, Scorpio. What do we need to know for the sign of Scorpio as it relates to money, wealth, finances, prosperity, and abundance for the month of March 2020? Now, again, if you are not familiar with my readings, you will notice that I do read jumper cards. You will see that as I shuffle the deck, sometimes cards will literally fly out, or sometimes a card will flip over. And those are the cards that I do choose to read because I believe that they want to communicate something very specific. So what do we need to know for the sign of Scorpio as it relates to money, wealth, finances, prosperity, and abundance for the month of March 2020? Okay, Scorpio, right off the bat, I can see you're doing a lot. And especially in that first week of March, you're going to be doing a lot. You're going to be very, very active. And it's definitely going to be taking a toll as we move into the beginning of March. Now, the interesting thing, Scorpio, is that you're a high energy person and you're someone who likes to get things done. And that definitely is going to work out in your favor, especially as it relates to money. So we have the 10 of Pentacles here upright. We also have the 9 of Wands upright, Ace of Pentacles upright, the Guru, Justice in the reverse, as well as the 10 of Wands. So like I said, you're going to be very, very busy, and you're also going to be physically doing a lot. It doesn't mean that you're going to burn yourself out, but you're just going to be so busy that first week of March. You're going to be doing a lot of running around, a lot of footwork, a lot of maybe even a lot of back and forth on certain things. But you know what? It's really good because this is what's definitely taking you to that next level. And I say that because of the cards that we have here. The 10 of Pentacles is all about collaborations, and it's all about really connecting with the right people at the right time in the right way. So that's definitely going to be in your favor as we move into that first week of March for you, Scorpio. Now, I also see the 9 of Wands here. And this is a card here where it's, I want to say it's a card where you almost feel like you're doing so much, but you're not getting much back. Or sometimes you feel like you're doing all the work and yet you're getting none of the credit. Okay. And I just want you to know that it may feel like that, but that's only a temporary thing. And I say that because we have the Ace of Pentacles here. What you're doing is definitely setting you up for some new growth. It's definitely setting you up for some new level upping, so to speak, as it relates to money and business and professional growth and career advancement, whatever it is that you're working on, okay? It's going to feel like you're the only one doing the work. It's going to feel like, you're the only one contributing. But I have to tell you, it's definitely going to put you in a position of power because you've got some new opportunities coming here. People are watching you and people are going to be reaching out to you. And you're going to have some new opportunities, maybe some new projects, that you're going to be interested in. So just trust the process. I know it may be, you may feel discouraged or you may feel a little frustrated, but trust that nothing is done in vain and that you are going to be recognized and that your hard work is going to pay off. Now we have the Guru here and we have the Justice card. The Guru is, someone who really knows a lot, but at the same time, sometimes he may not necessarily use his knowledge for his own benefit. And when I see this card in the reverse position, that's usually what it tells me. It tells me that you do know a lot, Scorpio, and that you do, have the right information, the right experience, the right talent. But for some reason, you may not be utilizing it to its fullest potential. Now, this could be for a lot of reasons. Could be, maybe you just don't feel like you're in that particular state at this time, Scorpio. Or it could just mean that you're feeling a little bit of imposter syndrome where you just don't feel validated that you do know your stuff, okay? And that you're second guessing yourself or you're feeling a little insecure about your abilities, even though the reality is that you have no reason to feel that way. You are totally capable. You are totally experienced, talented. People trust, what you know, and you really have to tap into that. But for some reason, as we move into that first week of March, you're just not feeling it. And, sometimes that's totally normal too. We all go through ups and downs in our lives where we feel more confident at certain times and, less confident in other times. So this could just be something that you're temporarily going through, or it could be something that you may need to pay attention to and potentially work on and really know that you can do whatever it is that you're trying to do, Scorpio. Now, we also have the Justice card and the Ten of Wands in the reverse. Justice card tells me that there's going to be a decision made, and it's going to be a decision made that affects you, okay? Now, this decision may or may not be in your favor, but there is going to be a decision made by some outside third party or some outside source, and even though the decision is not about you, the decision outcome is going to affect you. Okay. Now, this could be something in the short term. It could also be something long term, depending on the circumstance of what you're going through at this particular time. Now, we also have the Ten of Wands here. This tells me that the workload is going to probably start easing up as we move through that first week of March. Again, we talked about how at the start of March, you're going to be feeling like you're doing everything all the time in all the ways, and you're feeling like nobody else maybe is contributing. Just know that that period's not going to last forever. You're actually going to get to the point as we end that first week of March where you can take a step back, where you can kind of relax a little bit because you've got other things that are coming up and other things that are definitely probably taking your attention. You can only do so much, before you get totally overwhelmed, and you are recognizing that. And so you are taking care of yourself to make sure that doesn't happen. All right. So what else do we need to know for the sign of Scorpio as it relates to money, wealth, finances, prosperity, and abundance for the month of March 2020? Well, what do we need to know for the sign of Scorpio? Okay. All right, Scorpio. So we have the Hermit card here. Now, the Hermit card is all about taking a step back And it could also mean maybe you need to temporarily withdraw from something at this time. As we move into that second week of March, I do feel like you are going to be stepping back from some things. And I'm feeling like this is in the professional work business sense, okay? Because we are focused on money in this particular reading. You will be having to take a step back from something as we move into that second week of March. Now, we also have the Empress here in the reverse, Temperance in the reverse, Knight of Swords, and King of Cups in the reverse. Now, the Empress card tells me that there is something new that is kind of going on beneath the surface or maybe behind the scenes. However, it may not necessarily be going in the direction that you thought. So if you're kind of working on a project, or if you're trying to maybe look for a new job or maybe start a business, just know that the growth is just not there just yet. Now, it doesn't mean it's not going to show up. It just means that, for whatever reason, something is kind of stifling the process. Something is kind of getting in the way of things progressing at the rate that they should. Now, we also have Temperance here in the reverse. This means that there's a little bit of instability here. There's a little bit of things kind of not totally in balance. Now, as we know, life is never perfectly balanced, but sometimes we can feel that maybe there's more emphasis on one thing than on another at a certain time. And because of that, it may make you feel a little unstable, or you may feel just a very unbalanced energy. And because of that, things definitely are slowing down. And I say that because we have the Knight of Swords here. Now, the Knights are all about speed and they're all about movement, okay? But because this is in the reverse, it tells me that things are probably just not going to be progressing. Things are just not moving forward at the rate that you would like them to. However, you're going to have to trust the process, because we do have the King of Cups here. Now, the King of Cups in the reverse means you have to be very careful about letting your emotions get the best of you. You also have to be very careful about not allowing yourself to make decisions that are based on emotion. Okay, the King of Cups is a highly sensitive card. He's also someone, though, who knows how to keep his emotions in check and also knows how to use his emotions for his own benefit. Okay, so you have to be very, very careful about how you're allowing your emotions to affect you, especially as it relates to money situations, work situations, financial situations. You have to be very, very careful that you don't allow your emotions to control aspects of your business or aspects of your money that may not necessarily be good long-term decisions. So as we can see, Scorpio, the second week of March is going to be kind of it's going to be challenging emotionally for you, okay? Because you're just not feeling quite settled, okay? And that's totally normal. Everybody goes through that, okay? I don't want you to feel like this is some, horrible thing. It's just that we all go through phases of our lives where things just feel a little rocky or things just feel a little unsettled. And you're going to be feeling that probably in that second week of March. But let's go ahead and get some more clarity on the situation for you, Scorpio. So what else do we need to know for the sign of Scorpio as it relates to money, wealth, finances, prosperity, and abundance for the month of March 2020? What do we need to know for the sign of Scorpio? All right, Scorpio, and here we go. So things are definitely going to be turning in your favor in a big way as we move into the second half of March. You know what? I think I need one more card for Scorpio. Okay, very good. All right, Scorpio, we've got the Wheel of Fortune here upright. We also have the Eight of Wands upright, Seven of Wands in reverse, Four of Swords upright, Page of Pentacles upright. This is a very good card. This is a very powerful card. So as you move through that kind of uncertain, emotional second week of March, don't feel discouraged, because as we move into that third week of March, Scorpio, things are going to take a turn for the better. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is a very lucky card. You're going to be in the right place at the right time, or you're going to run into the right person in the right way. Just trust that as we move into that second half of March, things are going to turn in your favor, and it's going to be a major thing that's going to definitely work in your favor. Sometimes too, when we see the Wheel of Fortune card in the upright position, sometimes it can mean like an actual huge windfall. It could mean a big win of some sort. But definitely, because this is in the upright, it means things are definitely going to be turning in your favor. Now, we also have the Eight of Wands here. It means things are going to be happening quickly. The Eight of Wands is a card about speed. It's a card about things moving fast. Also, it's a card about things really kind of happening quickly, but it's in a good way, and it's definitely going to benefit you. And I say that because it's right next to this Wheel of Fortune card here. Now, we also have the Seven of Wands, and the Seven of Wands is a card where you may have felt in the past that you kind of had to defend or over-explain what you're doing. You don't do that anymore. You're really in a powerful position where you feel confident, secure, and capable in who you are and what you're doing and what your goals are and what you're working towards. You're not wasting energy trying to convince someone, why what you're doing is valid and why, what you're working on is important to you. None of that matters. You're very clear-minded. You're very focused, Scorpio, and that's definitely going to be showing up even more powerfully as we move into the second half of March. Now, we also have the Four of Swords here. This is a card of, again, kind of withdrawing, or really kind of, choosing to not take action. Sometimes things happen in such a big and major way that the next logical step is to wait things out. Or the next logical step is to really trust and see what's going to happen before you make your next move. It's really about taking a time of evaluating the situation. It's about evaluating a situation from all possible angles, okay? And really kind of, not rushing to do something or rushing to make a decision. It's all about, okay, let's just observe. Let's just see what happens next, and then we'll decide, what we're going to do. Now, I also see the Page of Pentacles here in the reverse. You are going to get some news and information as it relates to money. I'm getting the sense something tax related here. That's the first thing that just popped into my mind, so I'm sharing that with you, Scorpio. This is going to be some type of message, email, letter of something that you're going to get news or information as it relates to your money. I'm getting a strong sense that it could be something tax related. And because it is in the reverse position, I'm not totally convinced that it's going to be something where it's like, oh my gosh, you just, won the lottery or something like that, where that's more of what this card is about. This card is about, I'm getting the sense that you're going to get a message about something money related, and I'm getting the strong feeling that it's something tax related. And that is roughly in that third week or second half of March. All right, Scorpio. What else do we need to know for the sign of Scorpio as it relates to money, wealth, finances, prosperity, and abundance for the month of March? For the month of March 2020. All right, lots of decisions. As we close out March, Scorpio, you're going to be making a lot of decisions. And the interesting thing is you're not going to have all the information you need just yet to make these decisions, but you are going to be called upon to make some decisions, especially as it relates to money, finances, business, work, career. We have the Knight of Pentacles, we have the Moon card, Five of Wands, Three of Wands, all in the reverse position. Now, this is a card about contemplation, so you may have been contemplating your future in a certain way, but now you don't feel like you necessarily need to, which is kind of interesting. Because usually when things happen and things kind of turn in your favor for the better, most people say, okay, now I want to do this in the future. But you're kind of putting your future plans on hold. And I feel the need to talk about that, even though this is the last card. I'm just feeling the need to kind of reassure you, Scorpio, that it's okay. And for you right now, sometimes the best thing to do is nothing. Sometimes the best thing to do is to wait things out and to kind of put things on hold until you feel a little bit more informed about what's going on currently. So we have the Knight of Pentacles here. This means that there's going to be some type of opportunity, but it's not going to be an opportunity that you actually want to pursue. But the interesting thing is that you want to consider it is because there is a money aspect to this opportunity. So there is going to be something that shows up in your life. The money may sound fabulous, but the actual thing, work, opportunity, whatever it is, may not necessarily excite you. Now, I know a lot of us have been in that position before where it's like, oh, this sounds like a great idea. The money's going to be great. But the actual thing, in order to get the money, may not be something that we're totally fired up about. And that's totally okay. Just trust, though, that you are going to have the information you need to make an informed decision. The good thing about the moon in the reverse position is that it tells us that things are being revealed. The curtain is being pulled back, so to speak. Nothing is being hidden from you. Nothing is purposely being what's the word? It's like nothing is being like held back. It's like everything is pretty much on the up and up, and what you see is what you get. Nothing is being hidden. So that's actually a good thing because it allows you to make a much better decision for what it is that you are trying to work for. Now, we also have the Five of Wands in the reverse position. This tells me again that you're probably going to be having some conversations and you're probably going to be having some discussions with people who may or may not necessarily be supportive. But you know what? You're totally fine with that, Scorpio. It's not like you need people's approval. You don't need someone to kind of come on board with what you're doing. You're totally fine going your own way in your own direction. And so I feel like that's kind of what this card is about, is that you may have thought some people were totally, on your team, but you're totally okay if they're not. You kind of just release them and you don't make them feel obligated to be supportive if they are not genuinely supportive. And again, you also have future plans being put on hold, especially because this is in the reverse position. It could be related to that money message you're going to get roughly in that third-ish week of March. So you're going to definitely be putting some future plans on hold. And I think that's actually a good thing because once you kind of get through the month and you kind of get a lot more clear about what's going on as it relates to your finances, business, work, and money, you're going to be much more confident making decisions as we move into the next month of April. So overall, Scorpio, you've got a lot of interesting things happening throughout the month. You definitely have an emotional week towards the middle of March. But it's not anything that's going to be a huge setback. If anything, it's going to teach you a few things and you're going to learn some things about yourself that definitely puts you in a power position as we move towards the second half of March. So I think it's going to be really good for you, Scorpio. And the other thing I want to mention too is that even though things may feel a little rocky in that first half of March, just know that things are really going to come together for you in a very, very strong way in the second half of March, because we do have things definitely turning in your favor. So you're going to have to be making some decisions, and you're really going to have to, you're going to have to feel confident, kind of letting things sit for a while. Don't be overly anxious to make any decisions, because you do have more information coming, and you also have some things where, you don't have to rush, and you don't have to feel, like you're obligated to take action, because you really are not. All right, Scorpio, let's go ahead and pull a card from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. Oh, this is interesting. You have Direction Guardian. Choose your path. And I think this is very true of the Scorpio nature. Scorpio is very much kind of his or her own pioneer. They definitely choose their own path, and they choose their own direction, regardless of, who may agree with it or not. And I think that has served you well, Scorpio. But in some cases, it may also kind of allow you to have the power to kind of sit back and see how things play out. And I know we talked about that earlier in your reading. You don't always have to be the forerunner or at the forefront of a situation, but you definitely go at your own pace, in your own way, and you make it work for you, regardless of the circumstances and the situation. So Scorpio, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or observations, feel free to drop those down in the comment section below. And again, if you are not subscribed, please make sure you do so, because I do have a lot more readings coming. All right, Scorpio, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I'll definitely see you next month.